So if you have been in the manifestation community, and specifically the law of assumption community, for more than 5 minutes, you have probably heard the term feeling is the secret, or that we need to feel it real in order to manifest. Basically, one of the key points that we are repeatedly told is that in order to successfully manifest, we need to feel it real to the point of satisfaction, happiness, and all of that. Basically, we're taught that this is a key aspect of manifestation and that feeling it real needs to be the aim of what we're doing here. But what the hell does this actually mean? What does feeling it real, or feeling is the secret, truly mean in the context of what we desire to manifest? This is a point of confusion for many, especially for anyone who is new. And because of the confusion, a lot of people are going about this in a way that is not going to be beneficial, and in fact, making it harder than it has to be, which has inspired me to make this video. So let's talk about feeling today. Let's talk about our feelings today and what this means in the context of conscious manifestation. By the way, hi, I'm Missy Renee. On this channel, we talk all things manifestation, so if that is your cup of tea, don't forget to subscribe. And if you enjoy the content, don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. If you are interested in any of my resources, such as coaching programs or my courses and workshops, you can check that description box down below. I'll have all the links there, so don't forget to check it out. So when it comes to feeling and feeling it real, as far as manifestation goes, you're going to get a lot of different feedback on this, which certainly doesn't help. Depending on who you're talking to or listening to, you're going to hear different people say different things about this. We're going to get a lot of different feedbacks on feeling and whether we need to actually feel it, whether or not feeling it real is even necessary to manifest. So that is already a point right there. And it doesn't help either that the word feeling itself has like 7 different definitions. I mean, if we go look at the Merriam-Webster dictionary, the word feeling has several different meanings, just the noun alone. So naturally, people are going to get confused. Basically, what many people are doing is taking that word feeling and equating it with emotion. For most people, the word feeling is synonymous with emotion. So naturally, our mind is going to go to, oh, okay, I need to get really emotional behind this. I need to be feeling excited. I need to be feeling ecstatic, blissed out. And I don't think it helps that many people find the law of assumption by first coming from the law of attraction. And in the law of attraction, we're taught that we need to be positive all the time, that we need to feel this constant state of joyous and excitement, and it needs to be big emotion. The issue here is that for anybody has tried to force themselves to feel a big emotion, it's going to feel very forced, and after a while it's going to get really exhausting because that doesn't feel normal to do. It doesn't feel natural to us, because the truth about feeling in this context is that it doesn't really have anything to do with emotion. When it comes to manifestation, feeling it real just means that our aim is to make our desire feel as normal and natural as possible. When we speak of feeling, we mean the feeling of naturalness, not emotions. And that is key. The aim of what we're doing here is to get ourselves into a state where that desired outcome feels like the most natural thing in the world to us. So really, it's about making this feel as normal and everyday as we possibly can. Not that we need to be constantly feeling high vibe all the time or super excited about it. To better understand what this means, we want to have an idea of what exactly manifestation is about. And what I mean by that is that to manifest a different outcome, we have to live in a different state of consciousness than perhaps what we have been accustomed to. When we have a desire for something, that means that we don't have it, right? That explicitly means that we don't have it. We are in the state where we do not yet have this thing, because we cannot be in a state of desiring something and also in a state of having it. We can't want what we already have. So in order to move from a state of desiring something and not having it to a state of having it, we need to feel what it would be like if we had it. We need to feel and think and become, in our imagination, the person who has what we desire. And the feeling of having something is a very natural feeling. When we have something, it feels just completely normal to us. We're not constantly thinking about it from the place of, oh, I want it, why don't I have it, right? And I want to give you guys an example as to what I mean by this, because this is a really important distinction to understand if we want to successfully manifest what we want. So I want you to think of a time when there was something that you really, really wanted and ultimately wound up getting. This could be anything, by the way. This could be when you were younger and there was a toy that you really desired to get. It could be a promotion at work. It could be a relationship with a specific person that you ultimately obtained. You ultimately fulfilled your desire, you experienced the thing, and you finally got it. Now, once you first got that thing that you really, really wanted, it did feel exciting. It did feel amazing. It felt so good. But as time went on, this outcome that was once a desire just became completely normal to you. No matter what it is, it inevitably becomes just an ordinary and natural way of life. And I want you to really ask yourself this, like, for that thing that you wanted and finally did get, do you still feel now the same that you felt on day one of receiving it? The answer is no, because inevitably, no matter what it is, that initial excitement and feeling of overjoy does begin to subside, and it just starts to feel like an everyday normal part of life. Whenever there was a time that you wanted something, those feelings around it were big. When we have a desire, the feelings associated with our desire can be very strong. But after getting that desire, a sense of routine starts to set in. And that thing that was once so big to us and so powerful in our need and our want for it subsided considerably, until the thing that was once strongly desired is now just a normal way of life for you. And the reason that I bring this up is simple, because we need to see the stark contrast to the state of desiring something and the state of having it. Because we cannot occupy both the state of desiring or wanting something and the state of having it or becoming it. Once you have it, once you become it, it just becomes a normal and natural way of life for you. And to break this down a little bit more, I want you to consider the number one aim in manifestation, and that is to change our self-concept. Now, most of you understand what your self-concept is, but for those who may not, essentially, your concept of self is the sum total of your beliefs and assumptions about yourself, other people, and the world around you. It is what we identify with. It is who we identify as. It is our perception or the lens in which we view the world. Basically, your self-concept is the answer to the simple question, who am I? When we're asked this question of who am I, we'll all have different answers for this, but we all naturally feel a certain way about who we are. It's a sort of vague knowing in essence, and though we try our best to quantify or describe it, it comes down to that general sense of self. But that sense of self is a feeling that we have. We feel a certain way about who we are. We have our beliefs and assumptions that just feel like that sense of knowing. And it is subtle. It is almost elusive if we're not carefully observant. And that is what we mean by feeling. It's feeling in the sense of, what do you feel and know is true? It's almost the sense of indifference. And by indifference, I don't mean apathy or not caring about the thing that we desire. In this context, it's more about impartiality. It's a neutral feeling, or that of being unconcerned. And the importance of this is because if you think about the things that you already have or the things that you know to be true, you're going to feel a sense of impartial to it. You're not going to question it. So our entire aim in this process is to move from the state of desire to the state of having or becoming. That is it. That is the objective. Because you align to the reality that feels most normal to you. We manifest what we already believe and know to be true for us. If we keep associating our desire with thrills and excitement, it remains a fantasy, a want, a craving. So we must normalize this feeling in order to obtain it. And that is the Sabbath, or the state of accomplishment, and knowing that it is done. So with that understanding of feeling and feeling it real, how do we go about achieving this? How do we go about moving from that state of desire to the state of having or becoming? How do we reach this place of normalcy and indifference? And the answer is simple. Continued imagination from the place of already having it. Neville Goddard spoke in great detail and in great length about the importance of making this feel as natural and normal for you. Make this something that feels like an ordinary and normal and boring part of your everyday life. And we do that through the strongest tool that we have in our arsenal, and that is our imagination. We must continue to imagine from the place of already being the person that we want to be. And this is key. And I want to give you guys a quote from Neville, an excerpt if you will, to help break down what I'm talking about here. Our assumption, to be effective, cannot be a single isolated act. It must be a maintained attitude of the wish fulfilled. And that maintained attitude that gets you there, so that you think from your wish fulfilled, instead of thinking about your wish, is aided by assuming the feeling of the wish fulfilled frequently. It is the frequency, not the length of time, that makes it natural. That to which you constantly return constitutes your truest self. Frequent occupancy of the feeling of the wish fulfilled is the secret of success. As the end is accepted, you become totally indifferent as to possible failure, for acceptance of the end wills the means to that end. When you emerge from the moment of prayer, it is as though you were shown the happy and successful end of a play, although you were not shown how that end was achieved. So it is the frequent occupation of that state in our imagination. It is continuing to go to that place in our imagination where we already have that desired outcome, where we are already the person that we desire to be. And I want you to answer a question honestly. In your average day, in the day-to-day, how often are you actually living from that end? How often are you going there in your imagination? Are you continuously going back to that place in your imagination, or are you continuing to note the 3D and all the things that you don't want and all of that old story and how it's not here yet and what are you doing wrong and on and on and on? Because the more that we get acquainted to that state of the wish fulfilled in imagination, the more it becomes normal for us. And this is what Neville meant by feeling it. He meant go there in your imagination. Go and prepare that place in your mind and occupy it and continue to occupy it. This cannot be a single isolated act. We must continue to go there until we are fully convinced, or until there is that deep satisfaction of knowing that it is done. Because once we have frequented that state enough, once we have occupied that state of the wish fulfilled to the point of naturalness and the point of normalcy, we are going to naturally begin to react and assume from that state. We are going to naturally think from that desired outcome. We are no longer going to react from that old unwanted state. And once you have made that desired state your home and it becomes your dominant state of consciousness, that is when we see the reflection in the 3D. Too many people are focusing too much on the wish and not the fulfillment. Once you focus more on the fulfillment of that desire than the wish itself, it is all but guaranteed to be yours. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it helped to clarify a few things. If you did enjoy it, don't forget to give it a thumbs up. And if you are interested in checking out any of my resources, I will have links to those down in the description box, so don't forget to check those out. Also, don't forget to check out the other videos on this channel. Don't forget to check out my Manifestation Fundamentals playlist. Each video is a different topic, but they all talk about how to manifest the best life ever. So until we meet next time, you guys, as always, please take care, be well, and never forget that feeling is truly the secret. Happy manifesting, guys.